Hello, I am student number 130729 and my name is Mulgrew. I'm currently doing a PGCE at Bolton University and I'm doing placement at Back on Track, Swan Street, Manchester. Right, today I'm actually going to just show you how to create a box pleat skirt covering for the front of tables, and also decorations too as well. And this is part of my last assignment with the view of decorating the Back on Track Centre on the 1st of April, and that is for the 1st of April celebrations at Back on Track, when they celebrate the work that they've done over 12-week period, and they give out certificates for what has been achieved to the students. So we're going to start with a box pleat covering. So this, as I say, we will do it Back on Track, and that will be for the counter. But you can do it, as I say, for any table size. And this is the roll that I'm going to use, this one here. Now, what you've got to do first of all is you've got to measure, whether it's a cafeteria counter, which I'm going to do, or whether it's a table. You have to actually measure the height of the table, or as I said, Back on Track tomorrow, Tuesday the 29th of March, I'm going to, as I say, do the cafeteria counter. But for today anyway, here, I'm just going to use the table that's in front of me. So this table I measured using a measuring tape, and it measures 29 inches. So as you can see, this roll, this is 29 inches on the tape, so this roll is considerably longer than that. So what you've got to do is then, you've got to roll this out, and then you've got to cut a length off. So I've just cut today just a short length off this particular paper roll, and it's here on the table. And so I've done this just prior to starting the video. I've already cut a piece out, and I measured the actual length, lying it flat. I measured the length, and it was well over 29 inches. So the bit that was over, I folded it over and I cut a bit of it off, leaving a bit on, because if you leave a little bit on, it sort of just stiffens. It's like the top end then becomes like a double layer of paper if you leave a little bit of extra on the other side. And then you measure the 29 inches, make sure you've got the 29 inches all right along the whole length that you've cut. And then the extra bit that's over, then all you simply do is you just fold it, which I did do. I actually just folded it, measuring 29 inches, and then what was over, I folded it, and then also cut a little bit of the length off, but then leaving about the same width round the back, just to make the top end of this covering a little bit more secure. And then after you've done that, then you're ready to box pleat it. So basically you've made sure that you have, up to now, you've got the right length. So when you actually attach it to the front of the table, or whatever that you're covering, with the skirt, that it reaches then from the floor just to the edge of the table. Right, so once you've done that, then it's time to box pleat it. And what you do is, you start off by, if I turn this round, if you start off on the inside by making a nice clear edge, and you do that by just simply turning the edge over, which I did a few inches, and then you staple along. We're just going to use staples to hold all these box pleats in place. And that's what I've done. And then once you've done that, you lay it down flat. And what I've used is, it's just simply a coaster. I've used this in regard to the widths of the pleats. So what I've actually done is, once you've obviously just stapled, give it a nice straight edge by folding over the paper and then stapling it. And what you do is you place this on the paper from where you stapled it underneath, and then this gives you the gauge of the size of the pleat. And then all you simply do is then you just get the edge of the paper at the end of the width of this coaster, and then you go from there, and then there we go, you leave a gap, and then you start from after the gap. You get hold of the paper and then literally fold it under. You fold it under until your pleat measures near enough the actual width of the coaster. So let me just show you what I mean here. I hold this up. See, this is my new pleat that I've just made. I made a couple earlier on. So this new pleat that I've made, if you have a look, it is the same width as the coaster that I've used, like that. And then what you simply do is you just staple that in place by just grabbing a stapler, making sure all the edges are level, and then along the top of the edge you just place 3 staples in, and there you have a box pleat. It's a box pleat. There we go. Just made a box pleat, and that was 2 others that I made earlier on. Simply what you're doing is, once again, is I'll just show you the top of this. So what I would do is, when I would lay this down flat, is, so you're leaving a gap again, and then with this gap here, you start there by folding over a width, which is a coaster width. There we go. Making sure that the paper doesn't get crumpled or tangled as you do it. Sometimes this can happen. That's it. There we go. And then once you've got that width in place, and once again, what you do is you just sort of then staple it into place, making sure that it's secure. So I'm just going to show you by standing up again. So there you are. There's another width, coaster width there of a pleat, box pleat. We finish off by simply, once again, stapling it into place. Here we go. And all you do is you simply do this right along until you come to the end of the piece of paper roll that you have actually cut off. Usually when I do a table, I usually, because obviously there's a lot of folding and a lot of paper is doubled over, so I always sort of try and start with a rolled out piece of paper roll, at least about, I would say, oh, it would have to be at least 15 foot long. So that's what you do. You just keep going and keep going until you've got your box pleat covering. And then what attaches it to the edge of the table is just simply this, which is double-edged sticky adhesive roll, really. And you just can either put it on strips along the edge of the table, or if you want to make it even all the more secure, you can just literally stick it on one side all the way right down and right around the table itself. So you can either do it well, as far as it being a one length is concerned, or you can do it in like sort of little bits, entirely up to yourself. And then you put it, obviously, you know, you put it on the edge, and then once you put it on the edge, then literally all you do is, let me just come around here, all you do is once you have your double-sided tape on that, then you peel the other side. Obviously one side is sticky and the other side you've got to peel it off once you've put it on. So as you peel that off, and obviously the other side's sticky, you just literally attach that to it along the edge, and that's it. And then once you've done that right around the whole table, what I do is then, for an added decoration, I use this. I buy a piece of netting, and one end, depending on what colours the event is, whether it's a wedding or whether it's a party for a female or a male, depending on what colours are on the day or on, in regard to the event. With Back on Track, the colours are purple and orange. In this case, what I will do is, this long piece of netting, you take about 9 inches from the end and you wrap a nice bit of this foil-like curly ribbon around it, and then you just simply attach that end using, once again, the double-sided tape. You put it on the very end of the table, and then you loop it, depending on the length of the table or the tables or the counter. Then you just loop as you go along, just ruffling the net and sticking more ribbons on like that. And then you just, as I say, making sure that it looks central. You just loop the net, keep looping the net until you get to the other end of your tables or your table or your counter, whatever you're doing. Making sure that obviously the loops are all even. And then, and over that, you either buy or make your own flowers and stick, using the double-sided tape again, flowers on top of that. I've made one here which I'm going to show you how to make, like something like that, obviously in the colours of Back on Track. You would actually stick that on top of that, on top of the netting. Where you loop the netting, you stick a flower on. For every loop that's pinned to the table, then you stick a flower on. That's basically how you do a box pleat table covering. And so I'm going to have a little break now while I set up for the flower arranging and the garlands that I'm going to show you to make. So we're at the second part of the decorations that will be made tomorrow at Back on Track for the 1st of April. Celebrations is coming Friday. So we're going to do garlands and we're going to do flowers and pom-poms. But before we do, just to finish off as far as the box pleat is concerned, when you get to the other end of your box pleat covering, just remember to turn over the edge and staple it too. So, so at the beginning and at the end of your box pleat section that you've made, it means then you'll have lovely straight ends on either end of it. So I just forgot to mention that. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make garlands. And these are the garlands we're going to make. I made these earlier. So how do we make these? Right, so we make these by doing the following. You can buy crepe paper streamers, which I have done, and when you buy them they come in a roll this size. Obviously this is just a piece that I've cut off from a roll, but this is the width that the rolls come in. As I say, they're just crepe paper rolls. So to make these garlands, once again in the colours of Back on Track, obviously these are just short pieces. In the case of, like, obviously that garland it was a much longer piece that was used. But just to show you in front of the video camera, this is just little samples really. So what you do is you get a roll of purple and a roll of orange, and probably with this that I did previously, I would say that this was probably, when I started out, a 20-foot piece of the purple roll and a 20-foot piece of the orange roll. So what you do is you put the orange and the purple together like so, and then you get similarly the same two pieces. Again, pretend that these are both 20 foot in length. Right, similarly again. So what you do is put the two of them together again and get the other ends as well, and then what you do is you put them diagonally together like that. So this is your ends. So instead of putting them together like that, you're actually going to cross them over like that diagonally, and then you staple. So here we go. Staple. Just to keep these together. So I'm going to put 3 staples in just to make sure. There we go. Right. And then what we do now is very, very simply start to fold backwards. So what we do is, this has formed a little square there. And what we do is we just take that paper back like so, over that way, and then this bit we take over that way, and we just keep doing that all the way in regards to the two lengths. That's it. So we just keep literally interlocking them. Here we go. That's it. Just keep going. Interlocking. Backwards and forwards. And up and down. All the way. Making sure that we keep it nice and straight as we do it. That's it. Making sure that our crepe paper is straight. There we go. Across, up and down. Bringing the layers literally over each other until we come to the end, which is right there, and then we would staple those ends together as well. We just, that last bit. So we'll staple the other end together, and when we open it out, there we go, garlands. So we either hang them that way, making short ones like that, from a longer piece like that, or you hang them individually, or you hang them with a flower, or just whatever way you want to decorate the room. Entirely up to you. So there we go. So obviously the full effect is if you get the two colours, and then as it's intertwined, it does look quite colourful, quite effective. So there you go. That's our garlands to hang on the ceiling. Right, so that's that. Now onto the flowers. Let me just... Now onto the flowers. So we're going to make these little flowers here. Now what are they made of? They're actually made out of a strip of crepe paper and these, which are literally little foil baking cases. Here they are. I got them off the internet, get them in different colours. Got purple because obviously Back on Track is purple and orange. So you need 3 of these to make one of these. So what you do is you take one of them and you flatten it out, and then you cut just to the circle in the middle, a line on either side, and then you're going to make on the 2 halves 2 incisions, making 3. So you end up with like 3 if you like on either side, like so. So you end up literally with 3 on that side, 3 on that side. Once you've obviously cut to the middle there and cut to the middle there, you should have 3 leaves that side, 3 leaves that side. And then you literally just cut them so they come to a point in the middle of each, what will be each leaf. Here we go. There we go. I'll show you once I've finished this. Show you what I mean. There we go. So you end up like that, little points. So I've done 2 already, and then what you do is in the center of the top one, to make this stronger, you get 2 pieces, small pieces of sellotape, and you crisscross them over, make a hole, put a string through with a knot on the top of the string, so when you come to make, if you want bouquets of flowers and you have to pull on the string, it means then that the flowers will hold together, and also too that the string won't go right through the flower itself because it's strong here because of the 2 layers of sellotape. So let's do this 3rd one. So what we do is we just make another hole like so, and then loop this string through. There we go, like that. And they're all obviously got to be facing the purple side up. And then we just gently fold them over a little bit, just to sort of give them, there we go, just that little bit of a flowery fold really, so like so. And we'll cut off just that little bit of string that's just hanging, because we don't want any sort of string exposed when we come to make the little rows inside. So let me just clear that like that. Right. So this is crepe paper. It comes in a roll like that when you buy it from the shops. So I've literally just cut off a strip of it, which is just a small strip like that. And then what we do is to create this rose effect in the middle, what we do is, right, so we open it up, and we fold it like so, and then we fold it again. And then we join both of the ends together after we've done that. There we go, making sure that all the middle section is folded too. Let me just double check that, making sure as we go along. Here we go, that's a bit better, a bit stronger. There we go. There we go, and as I say, once we've done that, we hold both ends, folding over, and then we literally just roll loosely, just roll it loosely up. So, and that gives you that little flower look in the middle. And what we do is we just literally sellotape that first of all. So, making sure that stays in place. So we do a couple of strips that just make sure that it's nice and strong. And once you've got that little flower shape, and all we do is then we just literally stick it in the center of the flower using some glue. You stick it in the middle, and that covers also covers the string in the middle, and then you just leave it to dry, and then you've got your flower. Simple as that. So when it dries, it's like these two that I've done before, and you can make bouquets out of them, just like that. You have half a dozen of them. Maybe put some of the pom-poms that we're going to make round too as well, or some of the other type of flowers that we're going to make too as well. So for now we're just going to leave them there, let that one dry, like so. Leave that one there to dry. And we're going to make a different type of a one now. We're actually going to make one from silver foil, which is this. So what you do is you cut this into 4, and once you cut them into 4, then trim all the edges off, so you're left with that. Then what you do is, similarly to the other, you cut as far down as the circle bit in the middle. So with this we're going to make 4 instead of 6. And once again we're going to create that leaf effect with them. There we go, just making almost like a diamond tip shape to them. Brilliant. So what we do is, once again, just to make the centre strong, you get the sellotape, and there we go. Make the centre strong, just 2 wee small bits of sellotape, and then we're going to insert, once again, I'm going to tie like so, piece of string, and we will insert, now that we've got the sellotape in there to give it a bit of strength. There we are. So this is like so. Then we're going to put this through. There we are. And the knot stops it from going through. And then I've made, because there's 4 here, we're going to use 4 per flower. So here's the other ones. So I've done the same thing with them. So I'm just going to make a hole in the middle to put the string through. And then what we do with this one, instead of putting a flower in the middle, we get a piece of silver foil. Just get a piece of silver foil. Here we go. Just a little bit. A little bit. There we go. This is going to be the inside of the flower. So we just roll it up into a little ball and place it in here. Once again, just cutting off any excess string that's dangling from the knot. So it makes it much neater. There we go. And then we place our centre bit into the flower, and then curl the leaves around that, and then loop all the rest of the leaves through the, here we go, once again through the centre of each of the leaves that we've made. Or petals, I should say, actually. More petals, aren't there? Leaf-like petals. Here we go. And there we go. We've got a silver flower. So what you do is to just underneath, to keep the string from moving, just literally put a bit of